So being a host and a podcast producer, it was a great experience. I enjoyed learning. I didn't know anything about podcast producing when I first started. I learned from a close friend of mine, and it became something that like kind of flow. And it's still a lot for me to learn now. But as of right now, I'm comfortable with it. I enjoy it. Being a host is fun. I enjoy bringing different guests on and getting them to talk and open up. It just helps me with my communication skills and also just allows me to see my guests for who they are. So I enjoy it. Challenges that I face on the producing side of things. Really just make sure you pay attention and be attentive to everything that goes into it, because you are dealing with footage and stuff like that, and things is moving and rolling. So you got to make sure you got to be on point. So that's the biggest challenge for me, honestly, but everything else I enjoy it. My process to prepare for a podcast, that is usually I always try to make sure I know my guests. I try not to go in blind with any of my guests that I go into. I don't want to have a structured list of what to ask them most times, so I want to flow. So I try to get to know them through the social handle. Even if I can talk to them for a little bit, I try to just vet them out that way. So that way when we're talking, I don't feel like a stranger to them, and they don't feel like they strange to me either. So the process on the producer side to make a podcast, it actually you got to be here an hour ahead of time most times, and just make sure the lighting is right. Some things you do when they get here, because you got to adjust the height and everything like that. But most of the time, just make sure everything's set up, whatever props, anything they got set up for their pod or whatever. Just make sure everything is right for them. Cameras, sound, everything. The advice I would give somebody trying to start a podcast is do it nervous. Especially if you're not used to being on camera and stuff like that, just do it. Think about who you decide to bring on, because you want to make sure the energy is there. I wouldn't bring nobody who you can't get a genuine vibe with, or somebody that you genuinely just don't really care to talk to, if that makes sense. Make sure that it's all organic so everything can flow. That's my biggest advice for that.